if you have young children in school, don't think about asking questions about what they're being taught, because if you do, this will probably happen to you too.
My name is Nicole Solis, and I am a mother from Rhode Island who was sued by the teachers union simply because I wanted to know what my kindergartner would be learning in school. And here's how this happened. I asked to see the curriculum, and my school told me I had to submit a public records request. The curriculum wasn't posted online, and it wasn't available in a school district. Then I asked them if they were teaching gender theory, and they told me that they don't call children boys and girls, and they embed the values of gender identity into every classroom, including kindergarten, and they didn't want to answer any of my questions further. They told me that they would communicate with me only through public records requests, and that is the only way I could get my questions answered. And when I did submit the public records request that they told me to submit, and I submitted hundreds because I had hundreds of questions, my school board then put my name on the agenda of a public school board meeting and held a public school board meeting to discuss suing me for submitting the request that they told me to submit. In a 5-hour-long school board meeting, they openly debated my moral character, my political motivations. They said that I was causing chaos, wreaking havoc, harming the district, harming children. One school board member even said she felt unsafe and started to cry because, as you see, I'm really scary standing here right now. And they really just tarred and feathered me for asking questions. And they had never met me before. And this was the first school board meeting that I had ever been to in my life. They wanted to send a message to other parents that if you ask questions, they will come after you. Well, at the end of this meeting, they decided that they wouldn't sue me for asking questions because they never intended on actually suing me. They just wanted to publicly humiliate me in a school board meeting that was a show trial. And when that happened, then the teachers union, the largest teachers union in the country, the NEA, did file a lawsuit against me to bully me and harass me with frivolous litigation and to send a message to other parents that if you ask questions about public education, they will come after you.
So that's what happens if you question the school. You can't ask what's being taught to your children because you're not supposed to know. And we know this goes on in the biggest cities all over the country. But this lady is from the smallest state in the United States, which is Rhode Island, which happens to be where I'm from. She simply wanted to know what her kindergartners were being taught in school. Apparently, she had an idea of what they were being taught, but she really wanted to find out for herself. So she asked the school if she could see the curriculum. And you heard her say, if you want to see that, you have to file a public records request, in which she did. She filed not one, not two, not 10, but probably over 100, she said, because she had a lot of questions. And they still did not give her the information she wanted. So she went on and asked if they were teaching gender theory in school. And their answer was, they don't call kids boys and girls, but they use gender identity in every classroom so the children can basically identify themselves as to who they really are, which is absolutely insane. They then went and put her name on the agenda for a school board meeting for anyone in whatever town she lives in. I'm not sure where it is in Rhode Island, but just so anyone could come and make a comment if they wanted to. But they really wanted to discuss and vote on whether they were going to file a lawsuit against her, a mom who wants to know what her kids are being taught in school. Now, this is the radical agenda of the Democratic Party. This is the radical agenda of the alphabet people who want all of this garbage shoved down our children's throats. It's absolutely insane, and it should be against the law. Parents should have the right to see what their children are being taught, because they want their children who go to school to be taught the basics, right? Learn how to write, learn how to read. Then as they move up in grades, mathematics, English, history, and so on, they don't want their children learning that there's 647 genders, that they can add alphabet soup, if you will, to their names and join their groups. They want their kids to learn. So at the school board meeting, they discussed suing this mom, basically saying she was harassing them and bullying them. And one school board member became so upset, said she was frightened and started to cry from this little bit of a woman who simply is asking for information that she should rightfully be able to get. So apparently they didn't end up suing her, but the NEA, the National Education Association, the biggest teachers union in the country, decided they were going to take up the cause and they were going to file suit against her because she was trying to bully and harass her local school board. And if you recall, Dr. Jill Biden is a big advocate of the NEA because after all, she's a doctor, an English doctor. Kamala Harris is a big advocate for the NEA because she's a moron. And all of this because a parent wants to know that her kids are being taught what they should be being taught in school. She doesn't want her children coming home, if they're a boy, she doesn't want her son coming home saying he wants to wear a dress and put on makeup. Or if she has a daughter, she doesn't want her daughter coming home and say she wants to wear work boots and cut her hair short because that's what the teachers told me I could do. This is the radical agenda of the leftist Democrats. They believe that parents have no rights to their children once they are in school. They believe in their warped minds that they own these children and they are allowed to make decisions for them regarding how they grow up and regarding what they want to be when they grow up, which is absolute nonsense. I think I said this before that lately, as of late, the last few years anyways, we have seen so many of these radical teachers pushing this political propaganda on young minds for one purpose only, to make the alphabet people grow, to make their movement stronger. They already get everything they want from the federal government. They get everything they want from the mainstream liberal media. They get their cause out there. And if we don't agree with it, you know we're the bad ones. This is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard of. And again, coming from the smallest state in the United States, which is Rhode Island, you can't send your children to school with peace of mind, knowing that they're going to go, they're going to make friends, and they're going to learn. That's what these teachers should be doing, helping these children learn the basics while they're in kindergarten and then first and second grade and so on. These children are being brainwashed. They're confused. They don't understand this gender ideology crap. And they don't need to understand it because it's all a myth. It's all a mental illness by these so-called educators who are doing nothing but pushing their political propaganda on our kids today. And parents have a right to get that information. That's why, as you know, Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, is putting a stop to all this woke bullshit because he's had enough. Kids go to school to learn, to get an education. They don't need to learn all of the gender ideology. They don't need to learn how to have sexual relations in the first, second, or third grade, because that's what these teachers are pushing on our children today. And thank God my daughters are adults now. And when they were in school, this kind of shit was not being shoved down their throats. Because if it was, I would probably be being sued by the NEA for complaining about it. So I guess my message here is share this video with everybody and anyone you know that has young children in school, because this is being taught all over the country. Parents are unaware of it because the teachers think they're not allowed to know. They have no right to know what they're doing to their children. And what they're doing is poisoning their young minds that all this stuff is normal. And it's not normal. This is the agenda of the Democrats in Congress, of the so-called President of the United States. This is what they want everyone to jump on board with and get involved in. And quite frankly, it's not going to happen as far as I'm concerned, because people like this lady in Rhode Island are going to fight, and she's going to keep fighting until she gets what she wants, because it's wrong and it needs to stop. And teachers who are pushing this gender ideology down young children's throats should be held accountable. And I think I said this also, they should lose their jobs for not doing what they're supposed to do, which is give these children an education, a normal education. Stop with your political games, stop with your political propaganda, and do the job you were hired to do. They go to school and they have to get master's degrees, which I'm assuming is very difficult. And this is what you end up doing. So you're a really smart person, and you go to school for all those years, and you obtain a master's degree in education, and then you throw that all away so you can push a political agenda on young children, and then you want to hide it from their parents. Any teacher who's doing this is absolutely disgraceful. They have zero morals and zero ethics, and they all should lose their jobs. And that's just my belief. It's wrong, and it needs to stop. And that's it. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't liked this video, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. You won't miss an episode. Again, share this video with someone, especially if they have young children in school today, because parents need to know that this is being done, and it's being done behind their backs. I hope everyone's healthy and safe, and I'll see you soon. Have a great day.